Baby, we live. All right, let's get it. We are live. Let's get it. This is night 4, A Man's Guide to the Altar. Let's get it. Y'all know what it was all week. Y'all gonna know what it is tonight. Stop playing with me. I got my boy here. This is about to be crazy. It's about to be crazy. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Please share. You know what I mean? I wasn't even asking nobody to share. People was just sharing this joint. I was like, all right, bet. That's what's up. You know what I mean? I'm so excited about this, man. This is about to be crazy. This is about to be so crazy, man. And I'm not playing. Bro, you already know we not playing, yo. You already know we not playing because we ain't got time to play. You know what I mean? Not with our men, not with our women, not with God. You know what I'm saying? So, everything, yo, man, I'm telling you, God is going to get the glory tonight. We're rap, yo. I'm uber excited, man. Uber excited.
It's gonna be great, man. Lots of conversations to have. It's gonna be great.
For sure, yo. I'm over here geeking because, bro, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, man. And
feel like this is good. This is good for you and I too.
yeah, bro. It's gonna be excellent for you and I. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be excellent for you and I. I'm excited. I'm excited, man. This thing. Watch, yo, man, and I love it because when God gets the glory for things, man, it's look, and He got the right people in the room, so I'm excited, man. This thing about to be crazy. All right, I tagged enough people. Let's get it. Welcome, everybody. Let's get it. Well, let's hop into it, man. Let's hop into our intros.
My music hit so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me, for blessing me, thank you for blessing me, thank you for blessing me, thank you for blessing me, for blessing me, thank you for blessing me, with a mind to rhyme and new tape, so thank you for blessing me, for blessing me, thank you for blessing me, thank you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome. Hey, what's up, Sean? What's up, Cheryl?
Thank you, Lord, for blessing me, yeah. For all the times I fell, always catching me, whoa. Escape the grave, it ain't time to rest in peace, no. He blessed me with this jam, got the recipe, still added to the legacy, I ain't finished yet. Man, it feels like I just started. Got the stamina of a young artist in territories that are uncharted. Open floodgates, they are unguarded. I ain't worried about the haters.
Tonight 4.
I be in the market fresher than a garden, feeling like a Spartan. Woo! Still in the face of adversity. Yeah, my favorite success is certainly. Seen a lot of low concern and currency. Yeah, God saved me from every emergency. Woo! And that's why my music hit so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me.
What's up, y'all? Let's get it. Bro, you ready? Let's get it, y'all. Come on. Share. Tell somebody about this. Let's get it.
Can't touch this, my faith can't interrupt it. Done been through the fire in the oven. At the king's table, full stomach. Opposition in my face, but above it. I done made it to the valuable trumpets. To the homeboy, about to flood it. Shoot my shot, hitting buckets. Praising, I walk through the door. Try to switch it or I'm hitting the bank. They ain't see it, but I grew on the low. Never ever really cared about rank. All I care about is feeling the pain. Life was hard, used to feel like a prank. The way blessed feels like I'm about to faint. Every morning praising, giving them thanks. Cause the enemy came from my throat. Blessed made it up and out of the smoke. Man, I'm so excited, I'm about to blow. Last dragon, yeah, I got the glow. My music hit so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you for blessing me. For blessing me, thank you for blessing me.
Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the share, Caleb. Appreciate it, bro.
For blessing me, thank you
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Welcome, y'all. Welcome, y'all. Let's get it. All right, all right. I got a quick video for y'all.
The wounded heart will never be able to live in the overflow. I want you guys to see this. When you don't address all of your brokenness, when you don't address all of your pain, right now, you're cool. But when God wants to take you to the next level, when God, I can't receive it. I can never live in the overflow. I can never live in the abundance. I can never live in what God is trying to do because everything that's pouring in me keeps leaking out. It's leaking out through this blind spot of bitterness. It's leaking out through this blind spot of insecurity. It's leaking out through the time I got raped and I never talked about it. So now a lot of us have adjusted to live like this. As long as I don't move, I don't leak. So no, I'm not going to move. No, I'm not going to do much. No, I'm not going to ask God for much. No, I'm not going to have great faith because I'm at a place right now where at least I'm not leaking. And we have adjusted to bare minimum. We've adjusted to bare minimum. But God wants you to live in the overflow. But until you address what happened, you can't. Until you address the pain, you can't. Every single time God tries to next level you, due to all the blind spots in you, it keeps leaking out. And then you bleed on other people. You bleed on people in your community. You bleed on other relationships. It's because you're not addressing your brokenness. So let me show you what we do. When God tries to pour into us and we have all of this, we look for relationships that could hide our real issue. Never deal with it. You can't tell I'm bleeding. Why? Because I'm in a relationship that covers up my pain. I'm in a relationship where I ain't got to deal with my trauma. I'm in a relationship where I don't have to deal with what hurt because I'm with somebody who can hide it. And you're using it as a bandage. But what happens when God tries to take you higher, ma'am? You leak. And so you go right back to a place that can hide it. What do you do when God tries to take you higher, sir? You go right back to a relationship that can hide it, right back to a drink that can hide it, right back to a club that can hide it. And God wants you to live in the overflow.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it, bro. You ready? You ready?
Bro,
I see
let's
you
get it.
pumped. You know what I'm
Let's get
saying?
it, man.
The first video that you guys listened to that was by K Drama, available on all platforms. Thank you for blessing me. It was awesome. I seen y'all vibing. The last video you guys just saw by Mr. Jeffrey Flowers from Redefine TV. Well, let's hop into it, y'all. This is night 4 of Sescon Witted Wild's A Man's Guide to the Altar. We're so excited about tonight. Subtopic: man's love language. You guys don't know what you got in store for tonight. If you guys don't know who Mr. Tobi Atte is, well, you're going to get to know him tonight, right? So this is about to be crazy. This is my boy. What we met like last year, like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
pretty
it
great.
was crazy. You know what I mean? I remember when he hit me up, man. It was crazy, and I didn't know what type of like sauce he was gonna give me on my live, but this dude's brain is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I am uber excited about tonight, man. But look, bro, I just want you to take this time and just tell everybody who you are, man, what you're about.
Yeah, man, for sure. First of all, thanks for having me, man. Anything, look, a phone call from you, a text from you, that's like, yeah, that's a blessing already. So, I love what you're doing. Love you as a man, Lord. Like it's just, I just appreciate you very much. So thanks for having me. My name is Tobi Atte. I did 2 tracks there. I pastor Ignite Church, New York City. So that's an awesome community in New York City that we just love to do comedy and do life together. And I also the person behind IJustMetMe.com. I've been counseling, writing on relationships, and doing all that for a number of years, and I've seen a lot of things in my life as a single person, and my experiences in marriage, and just talking to a lot of people. And so I want to figure out how to live a godly life, a godly relationship that honors God. And I want to understand all these principles that help us to do that and share that in ways that are simple, but yet getting to the crux of the issues that we're dealing with, because sometimes I feel like we like to keep things surface, and I'm always like, there's got to be deeper than this, right? So I'm always trying to see beneath the surface in terms of like what's really going on and what does God want us to understand. So I'm just really excited to be here, man, and share some of those thoughts around, especially around a man's guide to the altar, because we don't talk about this enough.
Yeah.
It's just you don't
Yeah.
hear about these conversations a lot. So I'm ready to get into it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. And like I've been saying, for all week, and I would never stop saying this. Women have been getting the best relationship advice for decades. You know,
I would agree.
yeah, yo, bro. Anybody that disagrees, it's like it's no debate for me. You know, I'll probably still argue. I'm like, yo, I'll just show you the list. I'll send you mad videos. Just overflow your inbox. Like, do you believe me yet? I'll show you stuff before I was even born. I'll show you
Yep,
stuff before Toby was even born. Like,
yep, yep.
I say,
Absolutely, absolutely.
you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so, let's hop into it, man. All right. So, look, man. Look, man. Like, I know you said, like, like you had like a little 15-minute thing, man. Yo, bro, just hop into it. A man's love language. What you got for us?
Oh man, yo. Mm. First of all, first of all, it's important to set context here, right? So it's important for everyone who's watching to know where I'm coming from. That's always very important for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you are a man out there watching this, I want you to know that I care deeply about you. I want to tell you the truth because your life matters so much. And I want to acknowledge the fact that most of the time when it comes to relationships, you have been talked at, not spoken with. And I want to acknowledge the fact that many times when you are in a relationship, seminar or event, it's like, here's a list of things you got to do to even scratch the surface. I acknowledge that. And tonight I want you to know that I'm coming from a place where I want to share some things with you, but also it's coming from a place of love and empathy, and I get you, bro, and I love you, bro. If you're a woman out there that's watching this, it's like, okay, like let's see what he's got to say. I'm a firm believer tonight that if you're a woman watching this, it actually means that you have a genuine interest in understanding how men function and that you really want to learn. And I think that puts us in a great position because sis, I love you, sis. I care about you. I want you to know the truth because at the end of the day, if you hear the truth and it helps you in your relationship, then we're all good for it. All right. Men's love language is the subtopic, the subtitle for tonight, right? And so before we get into it, we got to define what is a love language. What is a love language, right? And really, it's a vehicle by which we identify, by which we give and we receive love. Watch this on a consistent level, but it's a way by which vehicle by which we identify, give and receive love. In other words, love language means because just so we know what we're talking about, right? It means that we are able to identify. We can see, oh, this is a love language right here. What's happening to me right now? What's happening between us right now? This is a love language right now. It's also the way that we give. There's an action there, but it's also the way we receive love. Guess what? On a consistent basis.
Mm,
Why? Watch this. Because communication becomes language when it is repeated and repeatedly understood.
mm,
Communication becomes language when it is repeated and repeatedly understood. In other words, just doing things, just trying to communicate something in an inconsistent fashion does not result in language. So if I show up to your conversation and I just grunt or I just make sounds, I might be communicating a language in my head, but it is not really a language. Why? Because number one, it is not repeated in a way that is repeatedly understood by you.
mm,
So when we're talking about love language, we're talking about consistency. We're talking about something that is repeated in a way that makes sense. Like I can recognize what you're doing, and I see it as a love language. And we're both on the same page. I hope everyone's with me so far. So it's just so important to set that context of like consistency. That's what signifies, that's what makes it a language. So if that's the case, if communication becomes language when it is repeated by the sender and repeatedly understood by the receiver, therefore a love language is only a love language when it is repeated and repeatedly understood to mean love. In other words, when I do random things for you that in my head sound nice, but are not following a consistent type of trajectory of behavior, then really I am using those acts not as a language, but just to create a situation, which might be nice in the one-off, but it is not a love language.
Yeah.
Why is this important for us to understand? Why is this important for us to get? Because you see, I hear people talking about I'm trying to express my love language or express his love language, by doing these things, and they don't get it. They're doing random things. It is not in the form of a language. And so it is not received by the man as a love language, because it's like, oh, it's nice, but I can't tell if this is you really showing love to me right now, or you just want something. So I don't even know how to. It's nice. I receive it, but like, all right, cool. It's not a love language. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing, right? A love language is only a love language when it is repeated and repeatedly understood to mean love. Here's the second thing. We're still kind of setting this up, right? I haven't gotten into I'm going to leave us with maybe 4 or 5 of those specific love languages, but it's just so important that we have the context for this. The second thing is languages are bi-directional. They're bi-directional, right? They are bi-directional. In other words, the way that, from what I've seen, my who am I, right? The way I see this is the way that we give love is a very fair indication of how we like to receive love. And so,
Yeah.
100%. So we're talking about men, because men are special when it comes to this. So we see all these expectations in the ways that men give love. What happens a lot of times is that cycle is very often not completed, because when it comes to men, and I'll explain this in a moment, we don't see men's love languages as bi-directional, right? So, but love languages are bi-directional. The way that a man gives love is usually a very good indication already of the ways he likes to receive love. That's the second thing. So first thing, love language is a language when it is repeated and repeatedly understood as love. Second thing is love languages are bi-directional. If I'm giving it, it's a very good indication that that's how I like to receive it. Now, one more thing before we get into what these languages are that makes the difference. And here it is. It is easier, I think, to know how to expect and receive our love languages than it is for us to give those same things to the other person. It is easier to know, for all of us, it is easier for us to know how to expect it, how to receive it. If your love language is words of affirmation, for example, it's easier, even though it's bi-directional, right? It's easier for you to receive it. It's easier for you to accept it than it is for you to actually give the same love language that you say you have.
That's crazy.
Now, with that context in mind, let's talk about men. Men are special in that men are the typically the ones in a relationship who are not permitted to express and expect their love language to be met as a requirement in the relationship. Let me say that one more time. If a guy and a girl they're at dinner, right? And they're having a conversation. Maybe it's a second date, third date, first date, doesn't matter, right? And the question on the table is, what do you want? What do you want in a man? What do you want in a woman, right?
Yeah.
And the woman's like, obviously, like, yeah, like this, and this, and that, and be good to have this and that, and this and that too. And it's like, great. And there is a permission of to express that, to expect those things as not just as a conversation, but really as a requirement for the relationship. Like, I don't get these things. I don't want to be here. That's not the same for men.
Yeah.
Because if the man answers that at dinner and it's like, yeah, definitely, I want a woman who this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
I don't care if he repeats the exact same things she just said. She
Mhm.
listed 9 things and he's like, yeah, those same 9 things, me too. But the moment he lists them out, vocalizes them, and speaks about them as a requirement for the relationship, suddenly there's a funk in the atmosphere. Suddenly, she's sitting there like, I don't know. Sis, it's the same things you listed. It's
Right.
the same things you listed. And so it's very important when we're talking about men especially here. Men, this is the experience of men. And your man may not be saying it, but he's feeling it. Okay. The other thing about this is that men's emotions are significantly, I think, more likely to be misconstrued and explained as a deficiency in character. Men's emotions, right? Emotions are so if a man is upset, not like angry, but he's hurt. Do we all understand how thin the line is for that hurt and pain of a man to be misconstrued as anger? When a man
Yeah.
feels disrespected, for example, right? Do you know how so thin the line is for him to be misconstrued as being he has ego?
Yeah.
It's like the line is so thin. And so it's very, when you're talking about a man's guide to the altar, when you're talking about a man's love languages, these are all absolutely critical to understand, because most men do not feel that they have their languages understood, or even have the permission for those emotions. Now, here are the love languages of men that I want to share tonight, that are specific, that I think will make a difference in a relationship, whether you're dating, you're married, it doesn't matter. Here they are. Number 1, man's love language: emotional equity. Emotional equity. I bet you, if you're watching, that you've heard the saying, for example, that men's needs are very different from women's needs. You've heard, things like women are emotional and men are sexual. There's all these variations out there. Now, they're not all completely false. There is a lot of truth to those things, but that's the problem. The problem with that is that we end there. Men actually, I believe, bro, have the same exact needs as women do. A major difference there is the timing that we are allowed to experience those needs. In other words, how God designed this is that your needs are important, but you give them first.
Yeah.
So you look at, I mean, bro, you just got married recently. I bet you if I talk to the wifey and I'm talking about is he emotional? I bet you that her answer would definitely say that from the time we were dating to now, I can see how absolutely emotional he is on a level that I didn't realize before. Yes, sis, because now you have access. And so one of the biggest needs that a man has is the language used to communicate with a man is emotional equity, meaning that your emotions, how you feel, are just as important to the relationship as how I feel.
Yeah.
What we find in a lot of relationships is how I feel as a woman is a priority, right? What you do as a man is a priority. But men, when it comes to the emotional, the love languages, men, a language that they crave and understand and need is emotional equity. What your needs are emotionally are just as important as mine. The second thing, love languages, how you communicate, right? Because we've read the book, words of affirmation. We're not
Yeah.
even like like that. We're going like a couple of layers deeper right now, right?
Right. Right.
The second is permission for expression. Permission for expression, meaning that the length and breadth of your emotions are okay. This is a powerful, bro. You will find so many men are in depression. So many men in relationships are going through it because they don't have an environment in the relationship where there is permission for expression, meaning that
Oh man.
how I'm feeling, I'm able to communicate fully how I'm feeling, and you are able to take time to understand, to debrief, to go deeper in that, as opposed to just reacting to me.
Yeah.
And so if I am angry at something legitimately, it's important for me that I'm able to express that. Obviously, we don't want you don't throw things, talk about like I'm a man, I need to, no, that's not what we're talking about here. That's not a godly man's behavior. But to be able to say, this is how I feel, and this is the fullness of how I feel. I need to describe that to you so that I need to be able to express myself. That permission for expression is absolutely necessary. What happens in a lot of relationships is the moment a man starts to express emotion that is not cute or whatever, there he's lost the audience. Okay,
Right.
she feels like she's under threat. She feels like, and those emotions don't go anywhere. They're locked in. He has to lock him in places, and this is how men get high levels of anxiety. They don't know what to do in their relationship. They start to communicate less. They're starting to shut down. They're starting to disconnect. And guess what, bro? This happens a lot to good men out there, because the dudes out there that don't care, they will go out there and cheat on you. The dudes that don't care, they will go out there and do crazy stuff. The dudes that don't care will just, all right, cool. You don't want to communicate on that level. You don't want to understand how I'm feeling. All right, cool. I'm out. But the good men who are like, you know what, this is important. I want to fight for this. They
Yeah.
are left in limbo because they can't express to you how they feel, but they can't take their feelings outside and do anything with it. This is what causes a lot of men to be in that situation. So, number one, emotional equity, meaning how you feel as a man. No matter how much I don't understand that, that is important. And so we need to, when you're okay, we're great. When you're not okay, we're not okay. So I want to address that. The second is permission for expression. You need the space as a man to be able to express your emotions, all the good ones too. This applies to good emotions too, right? The third thing is that you understand about him what he is trying to tell the world outside about himself. I'll say that one more time. Love languages, right? How you communicate love to a man, right? You understand about him what he's trying to tell the world outside about himself. Let me dare make this statement. A woman that understands this and lives this out, yo, it will be very difficult for him not to put a ring on it. Like, I'm talking to the single ladies out there right now. Very hard. Men are seriously attracted and deeply appreciative of women who see them in the relationship as who they are trying to be outside. What do I mean by that? Here's this dude. He's hustling. He's going to work. He's trying to, society needs to accept me as a safe man.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Society needs to accept me as a creative person. Society needs to accept me as I am more than my skin color. Society, fill in the blank. The list could go on and on. The moment a woman starts to see him already as what he is trying to push for to be seen as outside, that is a powerful love language. Because I say is that I see who you are trying to become out there, but the reality is you are already that man right now.
Yeah.
Couple more, and then we'll open up for conversation, right? The next is words of affirmation, which is like, oh, whoa, we going back to the standard ones, but let me explain why. Words of affirmation. We have the 5 love languages. Let me tell you, men and ladies listening, words of affirmation are actually standard. I believe they're standard for men. Period. I don't care if he has other, touch or gift. words of affirmation is standard for men. If you don't have this, it doesn't matter. Well, I buy him gifts. Well, I do acts of this. Doesn't matter. If you fail to communicate words of affirmation, you're in trouble. Why? Because men growing up, we don't get words of affirmation very much. Right from when you did two kids grow up in the same house, right? Their life trajectory, the feedback they get from their family, in a lot of times from society, right? We're telling the girl, hey, she's crying. We're talking about what's wrong. The boy's crying. We're talking about stop crying, be a man. They go to high school, they go to school, and when the girls need something, the teachers are like, what's going on? When the boys need something and they don't have expression, they get time out. I mean, they go to college and the guys are having. I mean, all through the feedback of like you matter and I'm unafraid to tell you that. So the little girl gets, you're so cute, your hair is so pretty. What are the compliments that we give boys and men? One of my favorite analogies is you get a husband and wife or two people dating, right? They leave the apartment in the morning to go to work, right?
Mhm.
Right? And they take trains, two different trains in two different directions. You will find out more often than not, even if men don't talk to the girl, she will get feedback that she's being looked at. She'll get feedback that she's desired. Somebody will she'll get a look. She'll notice that kind of thing. Men, we don't have a lot of opportunities for direct feedback to say that we are desirable and that good things are happening to us. And so a love language for a man that is unusual but so critical is when as a woman, you're able to verbally express appreciation. None of that, like, well, he knows I love him, or he knows I care, or he knows I appreciate what he did, or no. You have to be able to say those things. Words of affirmation are standard for men.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're done. The gift of logical translation of emotional concepts for the man, right? Really for either person. Let me say that one more time. The gift of logical translation of emotional concepts. This is a love language, meaning that when there are emotional things to be discussed, you are feeling a certain kind of way. He hurt you, he disrespected you, he raised his voice, you wanted to spend more time, whatever it is. Oh God, what a gift to a man. What a way to communicate love. If you can find out how to communicate how you're feeling in a way that is logical. So when instead of well, you made me feel bad, or instead of talking to a man, talking about like, I didn't like what you did, or I didn't like what you said. That's not a logical translation of emotional concept. That's just emotional dumping. You're just communicating emotions. But men are fixers. Men are
Mm.
a little bit more logical. So when you're able to say, I understand that you probably didn't mean it that way, but when you did this or when this happened, what happened after that? The next step that happened was this, and the next step that happened was this, and that prevented me from, like, when you're able to break things down in almost logical progression, even when you're explaining emotional concepts, your man has an appreciation of how to receive what you're saying, and then he can say, okay, I now know exactly what to do. What happens in communication and language in relationships typically is emotional dumping, right? This is just how I'm feeling. And that doesn't help your man when it comes to love languages, because what that does is that shuts him down.
Mm.
The very last thing, love languages. We're talking about how the man's guide to the altar, what gets him there. We're talking about how a man likes to receive communication and so on. This last one I think is super important, and that is simply this: men marry their past, their present, and their future.
Mm.
Men marry their past, their present, and their future. Let me explain. What gets a man to say, this is kind of where I want to be, or I'm comfortable being here, this is huge for single ladies out there, is that a man can look at you and say, wow, we're in our 20s right now, or we're in the 30s, but you remind me of my historical context. You remind me of how I grew up.
Mm.
Like there's something about you that takes me back. Now, and for everyone that's different, but there's just something about you that takes me back. I'll give an example. For my wife, I one of the interesting things was she has this in her head this library of old school Nigerian songs, right? Like just old school. And we were there. I was like, how you know all these songs? And that's just an example. But like every time we were together, she was, she knew all the songs by word. I was like, wow, like that's like kind of interesting. Now it doesn't have to be something as plain as that. It could just be just how she makes you feel. She kind of makes you feel like you taking me back to my context, how I come up. The second part is my present, right? I'm comfortable with you where I am now in life. Maybe I'm broke right now. Maybe I'm in between jobs right now. Maybe I'm a struggling artist right now. Maybe I'm trying to build my business right now. And you know what? I'm comfortable in I don't feel unnecessary pressure from you regarding where I'm at in my life right now. So you fit where I'm coming from. You fit where I am. But guess what? When my business blows up, and the millions start coming in, I can see us walking down that red carpet. Or
Right.
when I become the man out there that I am striving to become, I can see you in that context as well. Men marry women that have a touch with their past, their present, and future. You fit in all those three buckets. That in itself, when you're able to communicate that in itself is a love language.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Woo! Bro, 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 that was a mouthful. I got a question. What? All right, so number three. That was the one I kind of missed. What was number three?
You understand about him what he's trying to tell the world outside about himself. You understand about him what he's trying to tell the world outside about himself, right? And so if he's trying to if he's an artist, right, like he paints, and just
Yeah.
as an example, right, he's trying to get his art out there. He's beating the pavement, talking to galleries. But then every time he comes home, or every time you guys are together, you say things like, you are so creative. In other words, you are telling him, you're communicating to him that he is already who he's trying to
Trying to
tell
be.
and convince. He's trying to convince everybody else out there that he's that thing. You are
Yeah.
communicating that he already is. It's impossible to resist that. It's impossible.
That's good, bro. All right, so look, I have everything. There was six total, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. And I just want to go through it with everybody. And I'll share it in the let me see. I'll share it in the live. Let me see. Here we go. This was dope. Y'all I mean, look, like I really hope y'all taking notes and stuff. But all right, so let's get into it. It's not gonna share everything because is it too long? Oh, it did it in increments. It broke it up. But all right, I'm gonna read it. Emotional equity is number one. Number two is permission for expression. Number three, you understand what he is trying to tell the world outside about himself. Four, words of affirmation. Number five, the gift of logical translation of emotional concepts. And number six, men marry their past, present, and their future. Right?
Hmm.
Look, if anybody has any kind of questions about that, I'm pretty sure Toby will feel more than free to explain. This has been crazy. When you were talking earlier, um, I was like, oh snap, like that's crazy how you brought that up because I made a post and I kind of like want to when you said something about disrespect, right? Like a woman like disrespecting a man, and because I made a post the other day. I said, yo, men go through verbal abuse as well. So look, think about this: if a man's love language really is words of affirmation, when he gets something verbally that's not an affirmation, it like all right. So look, I'm going to pull it up on the screen to what I all right, cool. So I posted this the other day. said no man wants to be disrespected by a woman he loves. That's God's son. Watch your mouth. Right? So like can we talk about that? Because I feel like a lot of brothers, they lean now. By the time, say if a young lady like meets that guy that she wants, that emotional guy, right? Oh now he may be too emotional, right? That's one. Or another thing is like the ideas and things that he comes up with, he's just feel like that he's not getting support and he's not getting honored by that. So now I'm going to drift apart. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, yo, I'm off you. And it's kind of like to the thing where we always preach that look, we want to make sure that everybody gets God's best, right? And I told you last night, I said, look, there's three things. God will either say no, yes, or not yet. And a lot of times we think that God's not yet is yes, right? So we pursue it. You know what I'm saying? We pursue a well done steak in its raw state, right? I'm gonna say that one more time. We pursue a well done steak in a raw state. No seasoning is not even in the oven yet. You know what I mean? Like God told you to wait, bro. He said, yo, don't. He said, look, now everybody don't have this testimony, but I know men who know who their wives are. I know men with testimonies who knew who their wives were. She didn't know when God told him, yo, don't say nothing yet. Don't say nothing yet until I give you the green light. Right now it's yellow, like you. Y'all know what? I hope y'all got a license. You know what yellow mean? Like, yo, so slow down, because eventually when you slow down, it turns to red. Right? Like, so stop. And I feel like I really want to talk about because a lot of brothers need to, like, yo, like, don't be afraid to share your ideas, because at the same
your emotions.
like your emotions. And look, like if that's something that she's not able to receive and you feel like that you getting shut down on, you know what I'm saying, and, on the phone or in person, it's like, yo, like who did I call?
Absolutely, bro.
Like,
You know what's crazy is that a lot of times, men start off the process of courting and dating like they are in an application for a job. The unfortunate thing that happens is that that cycle never ends. And so I'm not talking about the idea of you should constantly pursue your wife as God wants us to do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the negative part of that equation, which is that there never is a time, right, for a lot of men where it's like, wow, like I took a risk, I put myself out there, I did things right, and now I am eating the fruit of my labor. I am now so respected. I am now so appreciated. I am now in a relationship or marriage where she's not holding back at all, and so on and so forth. And so it's hard on men, to be in that environment, because it's like, wait, we're 6 months in, we're a year in. Am I still in an application? Because in
yeah.
the application, I don't have permission to tell you that I require respect, because it's like I feel like I might lose you, right?
Yeah.
We date, we're talking. If I'm like, yeah, it's a requirement for me to have respect, or it's a requirement for me to have a woman who is, it's important for me that you're organized or whatever. These are things that typically come off, no matter how nice you say those things, come off as like, oh wow, she's gonna be in prison, right? But 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 the reality is, these are needs that men have that are just like women.
Yeah.
And we have to find some kind of way to, for women to understand how to emotionally care for these men. Now, I want to say one thing real quick. It is not that a lot of our sisters have this bad intention of doing this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not it at all. There's a lot of good intention, but I think what the problem or the challenge is that there hasn't been enough context or environment where we're speaking to women and we're like, yo, these things, yes, they are requirements from men, and it doesn't make you any less. It doesn't give them the permission to abuse it. It doesn't mean give them the permission to walk all over you. But the more you're able to meet these needs the same way you have needs, right? The more you're able to see men's needs as requirements for the. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. You, happy wife, happy home. Oh man, what damage that has done.
Oh yeah,
What damage that has
yeah,
done. That's what I'm trying to express.
yeah, yo,
It's like the more we can see, yes, happy wife, happy home, ha ha ha. But happy husband, happy home is just as real. Like that is super important. Super
yeah.
important.
So I wanna talk about something. Um, Even with that, it's really supposed to be happy spouse, happy house.
There you go.
Happy
There
spouse,
you go.
happy house. I remember, I never forget. Um, my ex dad was talking to me, and he was like, man, that's why I don't be saying nothing. I just shake my head. I just nod my head, and I'll be like, in my head when he said
Like
that
that's
to me.
life. Like
When
that's
he
life.
when he said that to me, bro. When he said that to me, I was like, that's the problem now. That's why you get put in the box so you not talking now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I get it for that, because a lot of reasons why men don't talk is because when they get the opportunity to talk, they it's no, it's not
There's no permission.
received or
Yeah,
not,
there's
there's
no
no permission.
permission for
That's
expression.
good.
There's no that's it.
Yeah, and look, it's like people think that in boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, they think that in fiance and they think that engagement and like because I don't believe in boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, right? So they believe it in dating. I don't believe in that either. You know what I mean? They believe it, and some people even believe it in courtship. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody don't do it right. It's
Hmm.
all about your your mental mindset, and I feel like like bros, like your wife. It's like, look, I feel like a lot of men know who their wives are. They know who their wives are because it's that girl that's been their friend for a long time and that's always had their back. But she may know, and God told her don't say anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't say
I've seen it happen
anything.
too.
That's a
I've
woman
seen
of
it happen
God
too.
right there. That's a woman of God right there. I remember when I met Brandy. The year I met Brandy, that year, it was two other women trying to say that I was their husband. Can we talk about that?
Come on now.
How the year I meet my wife didn't know who was my wife. Two other women tell me that I was their husband.
Wow.
Yo, how sway? Like I don't get it. And look, bro, like look, I'm telling you, I had to tell them I wasn't really nice about the situation. Cause I'm like, yo, like if you was really about God being in a relationship, how come he didn't tell me?
Oh, and that's and throughout scripture, every time every time I've looked at every single time God brings two people together for a mission, he always connects with both. You talk about
Yeah,
Moses and Aaron, he had a conversation with Moses, and he told Moses, I've already spoken to Aaron. Both of them had their different conversations. Okay. When you talk about Joseph and Mary, both of them had their moments with the angels. Every time that God brings two people together for a godly mission, conversation is happening on both ends.
both ends.
You would never have to convince someone, maybe God, because guess what? That doesn't even benefit the kingdom. If one person's like, I don't know if God is in this, but I'm gonna just go anyway, that doesn't even benefit God. Like God is just like, nah, I don't even like that's a mess right there. Even when God is trying to talk to somebody about like this is where you need to be, if they don't catch the vision, if they don't
Yeah,
catch that revelation, it does God no good.
yeah,
It's God
definitely.
no good.
Yo, I I love that benefiting the kingdom. Is your
Yeah.
relationship with the Lord right now in your singleness, in your marriage, benefiting the kingdom? You know what I'm saying? Like real rap. Like what kind of example are you guys setting? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of times people like yo like stop allow God to have the invitation now. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like yo, yeah, God. Like once I pick out my who my wife, yo, God picks. God freaking picks.
It does.
Like you know what I mean? Like people be saying that men pick, men choose, right? No, you can choose. You have the ability to choose, but God chooses if you allow
Yeah.
him to choose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
the key word.
And
If
look,
you allow him. If you allow him.
watch this, bro. God, God will give you so much clarity. God will give you so much clarity where He won't make choosing hard.
Right.
He won't confuse you
Right.
with other people on trial. Like, no, our women not gonna be on trial. Our men are not gonna be on trial.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
God, your
Mm-mm.
best not gonna be on trial. I never forget
No,
this.
no.
My it was like one of my one of my mentors, like father figures, you know what I mean. He had passed away a couple years ago, right? And I never forget, he was so old school, right? So hilarious. I met him when I was like in the I met him when I was in the ninth grade, right?
Wow.
So he told me I you know, I used to always love asking married couples, like, you know, how they met, right? So I was like, yo, you know, how did you meet? How did you meet your wife? And he was like, he said, well, I was dating two other women when I was dating her. And this is
Mm.
something that I always disagree with him. And look, in the old head, man, and I'm gonna tell you another story of what these old heads be telling me. We're at. He said, I was dating two other women, so he was dating three women. And
Mm.
he told her that he was dating three other women. Was he wrong for telling her? No. I feel like he was real and he told her what he was doing. He said, yo, like I got two other girls that I'm dealing with, but he picked her. Now, am I mad at the fact that he expressed that to her? No. Am I mad at the fact that how he did it? Yes, because I feel like that his wife should have been like, "Yo, since you dealing with other women, I'm cool."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm gonna be on
like
this side right here.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, it's either you see me and that's all you see, and that's it. Because by the time I come in the picture, you shouldn't see nobody else.
A hundred.
You
One
shouldn't
of the
have to
greatest.
choose.
Yeah, one of the greatest things about a relationship, a godly relationship that works, and unfortunately, this happens maybe better at the beginning, but sometimes we lose perspective on that. And that thing is, and I talked about this some time ago, earlier, mid last year or something like that, is recognition.
Hmm.
Recognition. It is a biblical concept that any when you look at Adam and Eve, right?
Hmm.
There was a certain type of recognition, meaning that Adam saw Eve for in the same way that God saw her and saw her in a way that was meaningful for his life. There was a certain recognition. It was not like, oh, she, she's kind of interesting, or let me check this out. There was a definitive recognition. This is now bone of my but this one, this is definitively, I recognize this. When the angel appeared to Joseph after he was getting ready to leave and not be with Mary anymore, the angel broke down for Joseph what was really going on with Mary. She's this, she's that. This is what's going to happen. This is why it's happening. So you go back there. It was at that second level of recognition. Oh, let me break this down real good because this
Yeah.
is so important. When Joseph met Mary, there was a surface recognition. All right, she's cool. She's from my hometown. She's well raised. She's a nice girl. She
Hmm.
can make a good wife. Surface level. But guess what? That surface level recognition was not enough because when crap hit the fan, Joseph was like, deuces,
Yeah.
peace. out of here. So the angel had to give Joseph a second level of recognition. Now, let me show you what you're looking at, Joseph.
Mhm.
What you're looking at is this. And I believe that part of our prayer as men and as women is for God to give us that deeper level of recognition for
Yeah.
who we are with, so that we can identify who that person is. But guess what? When we do begin a relationship or courtship or marriage, we can stay in that recognition.
Yeah.
Because what happens to a lot of couples is they, even when they start with that level of recognition, somebody forgets.
Mhm.
Somebody forgets that this is a man that God put in your life to help you to do XYZ. This is the
Mhm.
man that God gave you out of all these men. God gave you a man who's going to dedicate his life to loving you and protecting you. Sometimes men forget this is a woman that God gave you out of all these women to love you, to protect you, to raise your children, to all this. We forget, and that recognition is at the basis of what makes a lot, relationships work.
Yeah. No, man, I really, yo, that was really good, man. That was really good. That was really good because,
Yeah,
yo,
man.
it's a thing, man, of recognition and allowing God to give you that recognition. You know what I'm saying? And I feel
Yeah.
like in what's annoying to me is that I feel like we always get first to know the wrong thing to do. Like
Mm,
I feel like it's
mm,
more
mm,
people giving sour information than the right
mm,
information. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
mm,
I got one more interesting story. I met this Lyft driver, right? Met this Lyft driver, and I was telling you the other night, like I love having conversation with like older men, right? I
mm,
love the stories. It'd be dope and it'd be hilarious because I'd be in the back seat crying with some
mm.
of the stuff that they be telling me, right? I'd be like, I met this Lyft driver, and he's married. And he was like, yeah, me and my wife, we about to move. I said, oh, yeah, cool. Like, how long you been married? To me, how long you been married? I said, well, so how'd y'all meet? He said that he was doing this delivery job. Um, and he said that he would see this lady every day. So he pursued her. Um, and he said that one day he even saw the dude like with her. Um, and so he was like, look, like even though she already had a dude, like I pursued her anyway. He said I just kept pursuing her until she left him and came with me. Now, even though that may sound like, oh my gosh, like no, first of all, I will say this: no other man was in the way when Brandy showed me my wife. No other man was in the way.
Mm, mm. You
I didn't
you
have to
you have
come
to
in.
tackle nobody.
I didn't have to slay no dragons. You know what I'm saying? Like I
I love it.
like you know what I mean? Because of the God I serve, like she was available when I met her. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
yeah.
and when it was time for me to pursue, nobody still was in the way.
That, that's
You know
su-
what I mean?
that, that's such a gift. That's such a gift, right? Because especially for men, and I don't think a lot of ladies understand that, because it's like it's not like, oh, like you got other men pursuing you and that somehow makes you more desire. A lot What a lot of women don't understand is that as young men, we had spent a lot of time in that pursuing stage of trying to put on a show, and what happens is that men tend to go so far off their personal script
Yeah.
to become the person that she requires, that when they actually get together, it's too much of a distance from who he really is,
Hmm.
right? And so when a man has to kind of jump through those hoops in terms of, he's slaying dragons, trying to that's
Yeah.
no, no, men are not doing that.
And
Men
look,
are not.
but look, bro, like that looks sexy to her. Like it's in movies. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's like, yo, like how many times have we seen like the good guy come rescue the girl? You know what I mean? Even if she
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
dealing with another dude. You know what I mean? You just come in and it was like, yo, think about all the movies that you've seen that in. And you think about like, wait, but where did sis find time for healing?
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
the dude that's in pursuit had a whole bunch of time for healing because we ain't dealing. He probably was never dealing with nobody for a while, right? You know what I
Straight
mean?
up.
His
Straight up.
time, the time he was dealing with, he was just thinking about saving you and and you know what? We gotta allow God to do the saving because
That's right.
I'm not gonna be Prince Charming. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not my job. You know what I mean? Like, yo, God will make room. God will even make room, bros, yo, to like, yo, if she dealing with somebody else or whatever, yo, you keep it pushing, man. You
Yep.
keep it pushing.
Absolutely.
Like, yo, I messed up in high school. I was dealing with a young lady that had a dude. After I made that promise to myself, I said, yo, I would never do that. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
But then
mm,
I end up chilling with some girl that had a dude. You know what I'm saying? She actually approached me.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? For uh look, well, if like she was like, yo, basically, yo, if my boyfriend not going to do the things that I require him, I'm gonna have somebody else do it. You know?
That exactly is that thing where, and it's such a good thing for ladies to have. I think it's such a blessing that there's that confidence to be able to say these are the things that I require in a relationship, and to be able to communicate that. And I think that relationships become earlier, more wholesome earlier when both of them are able to openly communicate the
Yeah,
things that they need, and to be able to approach it as like, this stuff is really important for me, and not feel like I'm being a jerk by saying something like that, or I'm being a
yeah,
jerk by saying that this is a part of the requirements that I have to be happy in a relationship, right?
yeah. And you know what, bro? Um, my fault. And you know what? Going back to the story um of like one of my father figures did. He did it. He did exactly what the dating requirements requires of people.
Mm,
He was dealing with multiple women at the same time, and
mm,
that's dating.
hmm.
That's dating. The definition of a date is that's an appointment, and you can make as many appointments with people as you can.
That's
Well, some
good.
people may say, well, all right, cool. Well, there could be purpose dating. Yeah, the purpose to have that appointment. You
Yep.
know, and well, what about um exclusive, right? And look, like I always go back. I'm like, look, like the root of a date is a night out with a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? Because some people will argue, be like, well, no, we're dating. We never said that we're exclusive. Well, people like, look, it's so beautiful because I wrote down on the side of my notes when you talking the art of miscommunication. Because a lot of times when people are dating, a lot of people are dating with not a made up mind.
Mm,
So what I
mm.
talked to you before, what can we do to change the tone and change our blueprint? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I was
absolutely.
I was talking to my homie one day and I was like, yo, we always talking about love languages, right? I was talking to my bro Arthur Burgess. He was like, we talking about love languages. And I was like, yo, what's God's love language? He was like, God's love languages is our obedience.
Mm,
And I'm pretty
mm.
sure God not telling you to take out 5 women at a time, bro.
No, that's not
Come
that
on.
that that's not what he wants. That's not what he wants. And the reality is, as a man, it is super important, especially as a man, for us to be in marriages that we know that God was involved in picking that person, as opposed to we went out and we won her, and we we
Yeah.
we got her, like we pursued her, we treated her nice, we bought nice things.
Hmm.
Because what happens is, in a relationship, I have found that the way that you acquire someone is typically the way that you're defaulted to maintain that relationship. The way you acquire, the way you get somebody is going to always be your knee-jerk way of maintaining that person. So if a man got a woman by being smooth, buying her things, that kind of stuff. Well, when there are issues in the relationship, when there are issues in the marriage, guess what he's going to default to do to try to resolve issues? He's going to try to be smooth and by her,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what the greatest hurdle he had to overcome with you. The greatest hurdle he had to overcome with you was to get you to say yes to the relationship. And if that worked, if this strategy worked, then when that was the greatest obstacle, surely it should work now when you're already in it, but just a little pissed off. But guess what? If a man prayerfully got to that point where God was involved and that's how that relationship started, well, guess what? When things are going wrong, when crap hits the fan, when there are issues in the relationship or marriage, guess what? He's going to go back by knee-jerk reaction, by default, to the strategy by which he acquired her when it was the greatest hurdle. And when it was the greatest hurdle to convince you or to get you, quote unquote, God was involved. Guess what? Got to be involved when things are not going so well. And so as a man, it's so important for us to have relationships that begin and are maintained in a godly way. And for ladies, um, uh, God is not unfair. Let me just say that real quick,
Oh,
because
come on, bro.
God does not tell men to be like Christ, have all these high standards and treat you well and do all these things just so that they can receive a minimal benefit. The Bible tells us that for this reason, right? So a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. Please don't misunderstand that scripture. God is not saying somehow that you, women, are so important that he's gonna leave in everything and then that's it. God doesn't use men to satisfy you. God is not using this man to satisfy them. What he's saying is, men, I have an assignment for you. You leave and cleave. You leave your father, your mother, where you're from, and focus your attention on her. And the way that God works is that when you follow my instructions, what you get there will always be better and account for what you left behind. Abraham, go to a land that I will show you. Where you are going to go with me will always account for better than where you're coming from. So if God is asking a man to leave his father and mother, to leave his comfort zone, to leave his identity and all that, and come focus on you, then what God is saying
Mm.
inherently is that the experience with you needs to be better than where he's coming from. God is not unfair.
Woo!
He's not unfair to a man just talking about like, well, you need to treat her like Christ loved, like Christ died for the church and gave his life for her. Leave her. God doesn't use men. like
Mm.
like God, you're not more important than God is just saying to men, your needs will be met. Just
Mm.
meet her needs first. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, and I call that a cycle of love, right? Many times for a lot of men, that cycle is not completed. They do the whole loving like Christ, they do the whole leaving and cleaving, and many women don't recognize that the response that I need to have as a woman is to pull that circle all the way back so that the effort on the front end is reciprocated by the effort on the back end, and you leaving and cleaving and you treating me this way. I am the reward for that. Me, woman, that you are doing this, but I am the reward for that. And the more that reward happens, the more the cycle continues. It's almost like a freight train that runs on coal. The more you stuff that coal in the engine room, the more it burns. And it's just that
Yeah.
cycle. It's just that cycle.
Mm.
God is not
Yeah.
unfair. God is like God is not unfair. Like he's not like, well, man, they can hack it. Just make sure you take care of her. The Bible says, treat your wife. I think it's First Peter. Treat your wife with sensitivity and tenderness. as though your prayers rely on them, because if you don't do that, I will not listen to your prayers. You know how, do you understand the gravity? God is saying, yo, as a man, if you don't treat your wife right, like, don't even talk to me. What
Ooh.
just because God is explicit in his words to men does not mean that he's not talking to women. What God is saying, God is talking to the men, like, this is what you got to do on the front end of the equation. You got to treat her right. You got to do all these things right, or else I'm not even listening to you. But guess what? If he's doing that, if you have a man who is doing that,
Yeah.
and you are not reciprocating that, what you have done is that you have made God a liar in the man's life. Because what
Mm.
that man is able to do actually legitimately is the woman you gave me. God, you asked me to you asked me to treat her this way, and I'm doing that, and nothing is happening. God, you failed in your promise. And trust me, ladies, God does not like being in a situation where his words, his instructions to men or to anyone falls to the ground.
Yeah.
Our needs are the same. He just wants us men to express those needs, to give them first before receiving them.
Mm.
Like the same thing with Jesus. God wants us to love him so much, but all he did was to initiate that, to do the work on the front end. So while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us, so that the reciprocation happens. In response to that, we reciprocate with love and worship and adoration. That
Mm-hmm.
cycle has to be completed. That cycle has to be completed.
Yeah. 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 That was good, man. I have two things. I have two things. We was talking about men. And if my boy Ryan Douglas is still on here, I remember when we did the Clueless Honeymoon series on IG, and him and his beautiful wife Joanne, they were our special guests for our first night. And one of the things that stuck out to me, what Ryan said, he said, "You don't need game when you have God," right?
Mm,
So
mm,
fellas, I want you to understand that you don't need game when you have God. You know what I
mm-hmm,
mean? And your woman of God won't see game, she'll see God. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
She won't hear game, she'll hear God. You know, even
Yeah,
if you try to do game, she's going to hear the God in you. She's going to see the God in you even before you try to, play game.
yeah.
So don't play yourself.
Absolutely. And you know what the truth is, bro? The truth is, and I feel so much for these men who their experiences with women puts them in the position where it's like, that's the only way I feel like I can I can do it. I feel like I have to really, like, I have to be so far, you're talking about, like, but you spend half your paycheck on a date. Like, what are you like what, like, it's what are you doing? And what precedents are you setting? Should you not be trying to find, again, remember, past, present, future. Basically, you're trying to find somebody who fits your past, maybe, and who might fit your future, but does not fit your present, because you're lying about where you are right now to acquire. That is how you're going to maintain things when things are not right. And so I feel for a lot of men who are like, well, no one is talking to me if I don't do these things.
Yeah.
If I'm not shelling out, if I'm not being that guy, I'm
Hmm.
not even getting the time of day. And so I feel for you, bro. If you're watching and you're like, that's who I gotta be, I just want to encourage you that that is not true, because you need a woman. Your prayer point should be, God sent me a woman who recognizes me for who I am already, what I'm trying. Again, back to this love language I've talked about. The man that I'm trying to become, give me somebody who sees that right now. Give me somebody who sees that in me right now. The
Yeah.
same way that David and Abigail, right, Nabal's wife, right? She saw in David at that moment, while he was still a quote unquote thug in the wilderness, she
Right.
saw the trajectory of his life. And that's why David was like, what? What, you see me as that now? David was like, nah, I'm gonna turn around. And guess what? When that man died, David showed all back around, like, oh no, I didn't forget, I didn't forget you. I'm here to scoop you up, girl. Like
Uh-huh.
because what you recognized in me, that's
Yeah.
what I need in my life right now. So, bro, if you're watching, bro, I'm praying for you. I want to encourage you. You do not have to be that. And when women aren't, if you feel like, you're not getting the attention or whatever, there is more about you that a woman will recognize much more than trying to become who you're not or trying to show yourself as who you're not, because you're going to put yourself in a lot of stress trying to maintain that personality, and eventually you're going to break.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yo, and it's crazy. I took I wanted to mention this too when you said um like when a man isn't giving God a time of day, and it's like, yo, bro, like you're not giving God the time of day to give you the eyeballs to see your wife when you're ready. You know, you
I
got to
like
give
that.
God the time of day, and you thinking that women aren't give you a time of day. You know what I'm saying? You're giving the wrong women your time of day. You know, and look, think about it. You gotta understand. Maybe your type isn't God's type. You're praying prayers that don't coincide with what God wants. You
Come
like,
on now.
God, I want what you want, but you still praying what you want. Did you
Mm-hmm.
ask God of what you want was probably wrong? You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
is
Yep.
that what your flesh want? You know, big titties, big butt. You know what I'm saying? You, we're red. You know what I mean? Like let's keep it a being, like, bro, like God
Yeah.
not gonna send you a stripper, bro. I'm telling you. We're rap. You can go ahead and play
That
Messiah all you want.
that
You can go
he
ahead
ain't
and play
doing it.
Messiah all you want,
He
bro.
ain't doing it. He
We're
ain't doing
rap.
it. He ain't doing it.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is that the more you understand where you're going, again, back to that whole thing, men marry their past, present, and future. And the more you understand where you're going in God and where you would like to go, the more you are able to see clearly. Yeah, maybe she fits where I'm coming from. She fits where I'm at right now. We vibe well. But where I'm trying to go in God, she ain't there. She ain't there yet. And that might just be I need to wait this out a little bit more, or that might just be like that I can't be here. I can't be
Mhm.
here, right? But here's the thing, bro. Again, back, fellas, I empathize with you. Bro, you know how hard it is for single men out there who are trying to do the right thing, but are too afraid that if they make a decision, for example, to exit, to leave, to take a break, that they will be seen as users. This
Mm,
happens so much in the church.
mm.
I haven't done anything per se to tell you that, we haven't, we're not shacking together, we're not having sex, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to maintain some distance. It's been a couple of months, and based on what you've shown me in a couple months, you're not it. You know how many single men I talk to who are just like, I feel like I need to exit, but I feel like I'm going to be labeled as a player or as a user, when in reality, I've just prayed about what you've shown me. I thought you were the one. I thought something was there, but based on what you have shown me, clearly what I was thinking wasn't right. And I got to go back to God and figure it out. And I'm still being labeled as a player because men are expected to, go up the mountain, bring back the tablet, and have have the girl's name on it, and just have it figured out the first time. And a lot of, especially men in the church, are just like, this is unrealistic, and I can't do it. That's why, bro. That's why men be going to, sis, watching right now. This is true. All of a sudden, the same dude has been in your church all this time. All of a sudden, you're talking about like he engaged, like talking about like he engaged to who? Like in this church? No, some girl outside this church. Yeah, he ain't trying to deal with the drama in your church. If
Mhm.
if the environment is not safe for him to like have conversations and try to figure things out, this is not empowerment of like players or anything. Like get your mind right. Don't be hopping. Like, this is not what we're talking about.
Right.
But what I'm trying to establish is the fact that there are times when with all the good intentions that a single young Christian man or whatever has, sis, you weren't it. And what is the permission to exit there? And typically, even in church, even with godly men, that's really, really tough.
Yeah, and you know what, bro? Like, I feel like the ultimatum is this. Like, with that scenario, his wife wasn't there. That's all. His wife was at a. I feel like a lot of people feel like that their spouse is going to be at their church. You, your spouse may be at a concert. Like, can't nobody? I can't. Brandy didn't go to my church. Brandy lived an hour away from me.
Yeah,
Really, technically, an hour and 15 minutes away.
there you go. There
When
you
I
go.
met her, I didn't even know where she lived at. You know what I'm saying? I just knew she lived in Jersey, not like that. Like she far, far. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have never ran into her in the city if God would have set it up that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know who she was. I
Yeah.
didn't know her
Yeah.
friends. I knew one person that she knew. I knew one person that she knew when we met, and only because he's a musician and he be in Philly. That's it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And we
Yeah.
found that
Yeah.
out later. But and even when you I wanted to share because a lot of times I feel like that men and women do this, and we do this in relationships or whatever. When we are interested in when somebody doesn't work out, we share moment emotions in the moment.
Mm. Mm.
That's all that is. You know what I mean?
Mm.
We share moment. We be real romantic just for that moment, and then the other person um gets, like that's really impressive and attractive to them. So now they trying to go to the next level, and when that person really goes to God, whether that man or that woman, you know what I mean, goes to God and really deals with that person, because the moment the emotions in the moment don't it's I'm gonna keep it a bean. Like majority of the time for me, that wasn't God, that was me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So if I like, yo, like, yeah, I gotta break out of this. I was the cause of being in failed relationships because I asked the lady to be my girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was the cause.
I was trying to make it happen. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was the cause of the breakup too, because I was like, this ain't gonna work. I started it and I ended it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And with none
Yep.
of those relationships, I asked God permission. When I met my wife, that's when I asked God permission.
And
I
it
started
makes a
doing things His
world of
way.
difference.
You
World
know what
of
I'm saying?
difference. World of
Um,
difference.
it's just one more thing I had. And look, y'all look like, I mean, like we ready for questions. We just flowing. I have a question. Um, I want your take on this. Well, I have a statement and kind of question. I think men hide their love language. Um, I think men hide their love language based on to what the idea, because a lot of men do believe that they need to treat women a certain way. Um, because they think that that's how you're supposed to treat women. And now they didn't just learn that out of nowhere. I think they grew up with it. And and some women are probably tired of hearing that excuse, because there's no excuse. Because if you're a man, you've seen a man, like you've seen a good man before. You've seen somebody do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying give feel sorry for these guys who continue to do it, and that be their excuse, or feel sorry for these women who continue to do it, because a lot of I believe that there are young women who grow up with treating men how their moms treated their fathers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which it wasn't in
Mm-hmm.
and that's like, oh, I thought this is because I've talked to people like that thought that was what they had
Yeah,
to
that's what
do.
it's supposed to be.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a real reality for them. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do think like men ain't a question like, like, do you think men hide their love language?
I think that I don't think that men are trying to hide their like everyone wants to receive love. There's no reason why a man would be hiding his love language. I think what happens a lot of times is that men don't think that expressing or sharing those love languages will result in like, oh wow, oh that's your love language. Oh, let me take notes right now and start acting that right away. I think that when men share their love languages, they're afraid that that will not be received well, that will be misconstrued as unnecessary demands and those kinds of stuff. So they don't think that it's worth it to
Mm-hmm.
share their love languages
Mm.
as a requirement for happiness in the relationship. I think that most men are just like, I just don't matter. Everything I've heard is telling me how to treat women well. What I got to do is my responsibility to do this. It's like I'm going in for a job,
Right.
right? And so many times men are not in environments where it's being communicated to women about the needs of a man, and that is being well received. like
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think a lot of men are in sermons or relationship events where it's like, hey ladies, like these are, these are very important for men. This is what you got to do for men. This is you got to respect him. And all the women are like, no. In those kind of situations, it looked like, you can hear a pin drop, right? It's like,
Right.
it's like, right. And so it's like what that inherently says to a man is like, wow, I'm not allowed to ask for those things. Like those things are apparently super hard, or like, like I'm asking for too much. And so when men grow up in those environments, whether in church or outside church, it's like you don't feel like you just want to, open your mouth and constantly share your needs, because, so it's sometimes they're hiding it. It's just that, what's the point? I don't think it's going to be well received. And I'll figure it out. I'll go emotionally kick tires when I'm down, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. No, man, yeah, I get it, bro. I get it. I get it. So what's up, family? We got any questions? We got any questions? Y'all been a little quiet tonight.
Mhm.
Oh, but bro, this has been awesome, man. This has been awesome, man. I got my notes, man. Like look, like bro, you already know we look. This is crazy. Um, I know it's a lot to digest in
Digest. Yeah.
for me, even with the six this you call them love languages?
Yep.
Yeah. So the six love languages for men, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, this is crazy. Um,
Yeah. Praying for you. Like if you're a lady watching and you're like, okay, wow, like maybe I didn't think about things that way before, or I heard that and that I don't even know if that sits. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't really, it's like kind of uncomfortable to think about. I'm just praying for you that you have the grace, and when you have that right man, for single ladies, when that right man shows up, that you have the grace to show these things, and in a way that doesn't dishonor you, right?
mhm,
Because the goal is not for you as a woman to be dishonored by sharing these things. But if you're sitting out there like, wow, I have requirements, I have things that I need in a relationship for me to be comfortable, then I encourage you to think about like, wow, like I got to allow that man to have things as well that matter specifically for his joy and happiness. And I have to allow myself to get to a point where it's like, wow, early on, I need to be able to see those needs as just as important as mine. And I think
mhm,
that becomes a great foundation for a healthy relationship, where you're not gonna find a man who lies to you, who holds things back, who shuts things in, and is trying to present himself as who he is not, right? And
right.
that reduces the odds for that happening.
Yeah. 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 That man. It's all right. So let me ask you this, man. What do you think that some men need to address to be better men?
Mm, mm. Um,
Like an
that's oof.
average thing, because I know it's kind of broad, because
Yeah,
different
yeah,
men could be dealing with different things. But what's the
yeah.
main, like one of the main things that a lot of the men that you talk to, what's the average? What's the thing that they all share? Like, yo, I think if you guys tackle this, like, what's that core?
I think that there's a couple of things I can think about. Um, One very important thing is for men to have avenues to process emotions,
Okay.
like finding a way to really feel your feelings, to process emotion, right? So if you are hurt, if you've gone through like tough times, whether like hurt by people, or hurt in situations, frustrated, being able to really process, this is how I'm feeling, and to be able to feel that, and to not judge yourself for it. This is where I'm kind of going with this.
Hmm.
So, and to be okay, like, you know what, I did my best with that, and it didn't work. It doesn't mean I'm a failure. Essentially, what I'm trying to describe is a situation where you got to be healthy with yourself, meaning that you have to learn how to forgive yourself very quickly, and not put on pretenses about the kind of man you're supposed to be. It's like
Mm.
who are you, and be comfortable in your skin. We know you're not perfect, or at least you know you're not perfect. Be okay not being perfect. Because I think what happens to, especially in the church, is that we have this like profile of like, what a good man is, and it's like, it's like right here, and everyone's trying to, even when you're not feeling like it, you feel like you always have to like be on.
Yeah.
And one of the most important things for us men is to be real with yourself, right?
Hmm.
If you're having a frustrating day, like, just be able to have that process that. So that's the first thing. Know how to process your emotions. And the reason why I'm saying that is that if that is not done well, or you don't know how to do that on a consistent basis, you'll find yourself expressing your unchecked emotions in kind of weird ways, and they'll follow you around. And because we men don't have spaces to pour out, to get to offload emotions, we might
Hmm.
go to the gym, or we might do something, but in terms of verbally processing, and kind of having the conversation between your ears, we don't do that. We just walk around with loads and loads of suppressed emotions that will eventually show up somehow. So that's the one thing. And the second thing is be confident in what you have to offer in a relationship. And if you haven't found it, go find it.
Yeah. Mm.
like 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 what, as a man, I am a, if you say to yourself, what, I've worked on being a very respectful person, or I'm in a relationship, I'm a good communicator, or in a relationship, when it comes to like, being able to be sensitive to people's emotions, that is a specific skill set, specific ability that I have, that I've worked on, that is actionable. So not just like, oh, I'm a generally nice person. No, no, no. Like in a relationship, I really know how to do this
Hmm.
in a relationship. Find it, bro.
Right.
Find it.
Yeah.
Go find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I look, fellas. The the number one thing we say, like, yo, man, um, go find God, man. And it's not even about the thing though. I'm finding God. God has already found you. You
Mm.
you you open up so you can see Him.
Yep.
You open up so you can feel Him. You know, like He's always there. You know what I'm saying? You accept Him,
I
accept
love
Him,
that.
and
Yeah.
just from right now, you can accept Him right now, man. Let's offer Christ to you right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your brother, your sister, where you feel like that you want a relationship with the Lord. Like, you hear us talking about Christ, you hear us talking about Jesus, talking about Bible scriptures, and you feel like that you want to know God. You feel like that you want to know who He is. That you want to change your life around. You want to rededicate your life, because sometimes of us, we feel like that we don't. Some of us, we feel like that we hear like ourselves and other people more than we hear God.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you can hear Him right now. So you repeat after me. Say, Lord, I love you. Thank you,
Mm.
God, for dying on the cross, sending your Son to die on the cross for me, Lord God. Thank you, God, for life and breath in my body, God, for me to even have the opportunity to offer your invitation to come into my life, Lord God. Because we serve a gentle God. And God, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes to the cross, God. I'm saying yes that your blood was shed on the cross, Lord God, for my sins, God. For the sins that I didn't even commit yet, Lord God, because that's how much you love us, God. I'm saying yes to you coming to my life. If you said that, you believed in that, that Jesus Christ is Lord, you are saved. Then
That's
you
all it
are
takes.
saved. You know what I mean? You are saved. So congratulations. And bro, this has been amazing. This has been
Absolutely,
amazing,
man.
man. I
I am
definitely
so glad we
appreciate this
got to.
time, man.
Yeah,
Real
so
rap.
glad we got to do this, man.
Yeah, man, we
So
was
glad.
rocking, bro. We had an hour and 35 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, look, like, I be ready to go like 3 hours. I'll be ready to go 3 hours because it go by so fast. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Stephanie, if you still on here, I know you said you was waiting to ask a question. You know what I mean? You can, you still got some, you still got some time, bro? Let me see if she still got a question
Yeah,
or not.
what time is it? Yeah, I got a few minutes. Yeah.
All right, cool, cool. I mean, yo, so what's next, man? What's next for the conference? You
Yo,
doing that?
yeah, I gotta come back. I skipped it last year. I gotta figure that. I wanted. There's some lessons learned
Okay.
there, and it's loading. It's loading. I gotta
All
figure
right,
out what to
cool.
do with that. But yeah, top of mind. That was
Yeah,
such a powerful experience for me and everyone that was there. It was
yeah, it was
crazy. It
dope.
was crazy.
It was dope, man.
It's
It
crazy.
was it
Yeah,
was definitely Lalana was crazy. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Not just because you had me on that joint, but you know what I'm saying? No, man, like, you had some heavy hitters on there coming from
no, it was
different
great.
perspectives, different topics, different
Hmm.
backgrounds, even different cultures, even
Yeah,
different ethnicities. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
And I feel like that's what the body needs to see. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we need to see that God, that you need to see Christ and not color. And I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
when we understand, even the believer, even the Christian needs to continue to see Christ,
100%.
or just see Christ and not color. Period. Because I can't say continue because some of us not.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah. True talk.
it's not about color, but it's about Christ. You know,
Yep.
if you ain't take notes,
Love
take
it.
note on that. You know what I mean? But I hope y'all got these love languages. I got them written down. So if you guys, watch the playback, man. This is night 4. It has been amazing. It has been amazing. Our topic tonight was man's love language, and bro, I just want to say thank you so much, man. This has
My
been amazing,
pleasure.
man. We
My
made it to
pleasure.
Wednesday night. I keep thinking,
Yes.
yo, because I'm so used to starting on Monday. We started on Sunday.
So
So
you,
it
yeah.
so it kind of messed me up with the days. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh snap.
Yep, yep,
Yes,
yep.
Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie. I've been waiting on your question for 30 minutes, sis. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool, cool. Yep, yep, yep. You can ask questions. We waiting on you.
Let's get it.
Hmm. Yeah, let's get it, man. Oh shucks.
Uh-oh.
I low key don't want to talk about this. I'm gonna be honest.
Uh-oh.
Um, but about the picture he posted. Um, I don't know. I didn't see it. I mean, no, like, all right. So we could tackle it. Is it something on Instagram or something like that? Maybe I can Google it. Was it like on IG or something? Because I think I do. Do I do follow?
Crime picture.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah,
Hold on, wait. I started laughing once you just said that.
the
Oh,
crime
hold
picture.
up.
I don't know what you can
Oh,
you
the
you want to
crying
put it up?
picture. Hold up. Let me see. All right. Is it on his IG? If it's on his
I,
IG, I can.
I don't think so. I don't.
I mean, I don't see it. I guess a crying picture. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So what's the question? Oh, okay. I see it. Okay. It was like, all right. So what's the question, sis? To be honest, like, bro, like, I really don't like. I try not to give comments and
Oh, I think
comments
yeah, I
about
think
people that I
yeah,
don't
she
know.
um
Oh, the question is as you let me see. The question is as you guys mentioned emotional translation. I think it was in relation as him to him as folks were saying it was too much.
yeah, there was a early on, I think she'd asked something so where's the balance? Maybe Stephanie, that's what you're talking about. 928, right? So where's the balance? Like for example, Kenny and Kim, actually better yet, Devon and Franklin with his recent Instagram posts, a lot of reactions. Like so, just like I think, do you see what do you see where she's at?
Oh yeah, I see it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's the balance? Like for example, Kanye. Balance for what though? Like balance with him? Like because I know that she said at the bottom. I think Steph, you said at the bottom. Uh, in relation to him, as folks were saying that the picture was like too much, like it was unnecessary, like he
Yeah,
should have kept that to
maybe even
himself.
like or maybe even like just like the whole situation with them and their relationship and like where's the balance. And so like Stephanie, if you maybe want to elaborate a little bit, I think you're onto something there, but just want to make sure we're answering the question that you are actually asking, right? So good, and maybe elaborate a little bit in terms of like what you wanna what you actually want to ask. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, like like it was honest question. You know what I'm saying? Like, um,
yeah,
and look, man, like pray for your brothers and sisters. Keep Devon in prayer. For whatever he's going through. Keep Megan Good in prayer for whatever she's going through. Keep your neighbor in prayer for whatever they're going through. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
and I'm gonna be honest. Like, when I seen it going around, I seen people talking about like, yeah, I knew it was going to happen, and I'm like, yo, get out of here, man. Like, yo, like it takes
Yeah.
two in a marriage, not you. Like, get out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Like, come on,
Um,
man.
yeah. Oh, so Stephanie just expanded a little bit, like, as you guys mentioned, not giving men room to share real-time emotion. Kenya, Devon are definitely in the same space, but just different emotions. So, I mean,
Okay.
if that's talking about like oh, oh, but men do get space to share their emotions. Well, if it's around that the question is like, oh no, men do get. Well, that's what we see on IG, right? So we don't know what that looks like in the relationship in terms of the transparency and the expression of emotions. So we're seeing sort of the result or the tail end of those communications. So that's something to keep in mind. And if the question is maybe around the fact that maybe they were trying to do that in relationship and didn't get that permission in the relationship, yeah, you see situations
Mm.
where men are just like, I like, it's now gotten to the point where I can't take it anymore, and I feel like I'm not understood, I'm not appreciated, I'm not respected. And the kind of respect that we always talk that I at least I'm talking about is not like, do what I say, or like I'm the head. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, you value me the same way that you are asking me to value you, or you
Yeah.
value me as a man the same way that I have to value you for you to say yes. Because if I didn't value you and respect you enough, you wouldn't have said yes. So I completed the first part of the cycle, and now I'm waiting for that reciprocal end of the other cycle, so that you respect me and treat me and value how I'm feeling. And if that's not there, that's really painful for a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
So yeah, but just like you're saying, man, like we don't know the details of that, and the best we can do is to keep them in prayer. And
Yeah.
that must have been tough, because like um and you know, he's also a person of faith, so like that must have been like just really tough.
Hmm.
Well, there's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this statement. What's up, Jen? That's my sis, y'all. She
Mm,
said, I think the challenge with Divine was that he was sharing emotion and he was talked about for it. That is a challenge for men who try to show emotion and then it's not received well.
that's a perfect
I think that's head on. I think that's
yeah,
head on.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, that of course, of
yeah,
course. You know what I'm
absolutely,
saying?
absolutely. Yeah,
And a lot of men are saying, you know what? See, that's why you know what I mean?
that's why
You
I
know what I
don't I
mean? And you
yeah,
know what? I'm gonna
yeah,
keep it a beam, man. I'm gonna keep it a beam. I'm gonna be totally honest. Um, I'm
yeah.
gonna be totally honest and like transparent. You know, like we have our ministry session for a little while, and when I came out with my book, people would people would ask me if I knew who Michael Todd was, and if I read Relationship Goals, right? If I watched Relationship Goals, people would ask me if I knew who Devon and Megan Good was, and if I read the book, right? And that used to get on my nerves. I'm like, yo, everybody knows who they are, but I'm coming out with a book called Virgin Men Do Exist. Like, I don't. I should have been like, no, I don't know who they are. Like, what I'm right now, because if you hit them up on Instagram, they won't respond. I will say,
Yeah, yeah,
like, you know what I mean. But no, I get it. You know that I get it.
yeah,
Similar
yeah.
ministries, you know what I'm saying. And well, I guess I mean I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about but yeah. So
I think too, like with when we talk about sharing emotion, and if you're a man out there, or even, you know, single or married, my advice, and I won't tell you to do what I'm not doing, and you know, you can, you know, talk, you know, hit my wife up and talk to her. But like I a few years ago, I made a very distinct decision that I would I would I would always try to err, if there's any erring, or I would always try to lean to the point of communicating rather than holding things back. And so, yes, we're seeing these communications and things happening outside on IG, and these people are sharing their stuff, but
yeah,
it is more important that is happening within the relationship behind closed doors, and not just then when things go south. Now the whole world knows about it. I'm not trying to say that these people are doing that, but just an
right.
advice for men, like, make sure that you are sharing and communicating and transparent and open and real inside the relationship, so that it doesn't get to that point where you got to be talking about it outside.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, a lot of times when some people get mad and whatever. Like, look, like you, when I post on Facebook, depending on what I post on Instagram and stuff like that, like I give people a platform to respond. I give people a platform for their opinion. You know, when we do stuff like that, you give them your business. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you post something personal, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's not about like, oh man, y'all don't, like no, bro, like you asked for that.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because you need to be in power, in control of your own emotions. And honestly, though, I feel like a lot of times that when that stuff happened, that helps people though. You know, because a lot of people got your back too. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
to like even go back to what I was expressing, it's just like we have to really believe that y'all, even though um your favorite couple is not together anymore, you got to know that your favorite God
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
still God.
On the throne. He on the throne.
Still
Yeah.
God, still on the throne, and He's still your source. And then I'm gonna be honest. I was like, "Dag, now people really gonna try to argue people down or not be encouraged by marriage." But people aren't encouraged or like not be like, "Oh yeah, see, the weight don't work," and and I was like, "Dang!" Like, but it's just like,
Mm.
no, man. Like, look, like it's still worth the wait. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's still worth the wait, and don't ever think that and this is for anybody. You know what I mean? My parents got divorced, and I believe that that was the wrong decision. I believe that my mom and my dad that they married their best, by marrying each other. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like once once the once the divorce happened, right? Once the divorce happened, it's like you're whole, and when divorce happens, it's like, don't you know how when God took a rib out of Adam and he created Eve, right? I don't believe that God. I feel like God is like the best surgeon, right? I don't think that God ripped open Adam's flesh, right? But he was gentle. But I feel like divorce happens like this. It like it's a rip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then a lot of times we just keep ripping things off of situations.
Mm.
Just
Mm.
keep on ripping them, and it hurts. All this is hurt, like the pain,
There's a lot of
the
pain. There's
the
a lot of pain.
frustration,
Yeah, a lot of pain,
the
a lot
children.
of shame. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, what? Look, man. Even though people go through things like this, don't ever think that God's people can't make the wrong decision, and we can kind of like, I don't want to say mess up God's plan, but kind of turn it a different way. But that's that like even the God we serve, he would still have grace for us. Now, will we pay for that stuff? Or of course, I do think that we in the long haul, like that we'll still be paying for some stuff off of the decisions that we made, and we will know that, but God will continue to turn things around. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why like if we recognize if we're in the business of recognition, especially after we found someone, and even if that doesn't work while we're courting, if we are operating in a state of recognition, like I want to recognize that this person for who God sees them, it helps us in courtship, it helps us when we get married, and it helps us when as things go up and down. But the more we're able to respond, responsibility, the ability to respond, right? The more we're able to respond to each other and needs we have, the less likely we get to a point where somebody feels like I am unadvocated for, I am not cared for, I am not valued, and that's when these issues start to happen, even with God's people.
Yeah. And look, I like the two comments that Cheryl said. Because I like them because I slightly like disagree, right? So I'm like yes and no, right? So hey Cheryl, so Cheryl said unequally yoked marriage don't work, right? All right, cool. I agree with that, but then I disagree too. Um, two people and Jesus in them that's equally yoked lasting. Okay, cool. Like my mom and dad had Jesus, and they got divorced. You know,
Happen.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like God gives us the keys. He gives us the blueprint, and it's up to us how we operated it. And I feel like that two people that know God can still make the wrong decisions because of them getting
Absolutely.
in the way. You
It
know,
hap- it happens all the time.
yeah,
Happens all the
all the
time.
time, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Like it does sucks because a lot of times we only, a lot of times we see divorce than a happy marriage. I told about a story yesterday how I met this dude in the train, right? And he was like when I was 26, and he was one of the first old heads to tell me that he said that if he had the opportunity to do it all over again, he said he'll marry the same woman, and he
Mm.
said that was the best advice and the best statement a man, especially a man of color, had told a young brother like me that he enjoyed marriage. We don't be hearing these conversations, man.
Nah,
Bro,
nah.
why was I 26 and hearing this? Why was
Can you
I
imagine?
26 and hearing this?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
trust me, all my life I've been hearing the negative though. I've been
yeah,
hearing the negative,
yeah, yeah.
not from my parents though. You know what I mean? Like not from my
Just
parents,
for
but
the
just the
general,
voice.
yeah, the general feedback you get is that we are signed up for a job. It's like you got to go do this thing, and like the value out of it is not as much. And really, I'm gonna say something that's maybe a little like you know obviously we talk about like a man's physical needs and sex, and those things are always important. Thank you very much. But the it's too late for this. I don't even know if we're ready for this tonight. I, at a certain point in a man's marriage, the need to ejaculate is not the all in all.
Mm,
Like there
that's
are
good,
deep
bro.
there are deep needs that a man has that
That's
his
more than
wife
that.
that just needs to be farming. When I say like farming for, because if this man is asked to leave his father and mother and cling to you, what is the benefit of that? If this man is asked to love you like Jesus Christ loved the church and he gave himself up for it, listen, Jesus did not come to die at a risk.
Mhm.
Jesus came to
Woo!
die. Jesus came to die so that that level of love will get a response of worship. And when we do not, yeah. There are men going through it. And ladies, I don't want to see you hurt. I don't want to see you sad. I don't want to see you what happened with my relationship. He changed. These are the things that are happening, and unfortunately we're not talking about it enough to the point where like where we're trying to hold you and say, sis, these things matter now. And hopefully tonight we've been able to do some of that. Even though not everything will have been comfortable, everything is truthful and
Yeah.
meaningful tonight. Because dudes are, and they won't tell your guys, your men, they're not going to come out and say it, because again, they don't feel like they have the permission to express these needs as requirements for their joy, because the way that it comes across is that they're asking for too much, or they're being egotistical, or whatever it is. And so men just feel like, I'm not valued, it's not in my think. Let me end with this, right? Because this will go. So m- think about what happens in a marriage. What is the promise that we make, both the man and the woman in marriage? We openly promise the woman that when you get married, that you getting married is finding a man who will be taking care of you. And we communicate that to both of them. So
Yeah.
she's expecting to be taken care of, and he's expecting, we're telling him, you need to be taking care of her. But almost all the time, what is missing from the general communication there is, yes, this is a marriage, bro. Finally, you got somebody who is going to take care of you, and and that's great. No, we don't really emphasize that piece,
Yeah.
right? And so this is why you will find men who are trying to have their bachelor's party. Like the whole idea of having a bachelor's party where guys go insane. Oh, it's my last night as a single man. That's like the craziest thing to me. And it is a symptom of the fact that we have communicated that, yeah, you're going into prison. You're going into work. And
Mm.
so, like, there's some things that you're just not gonna get anymore. There's just some
Ooh.
things that are not gonna work anymore. There's just some things that you have to give up. You're not gonna be as valued. So like go have that fun for one night, and hopefully, you pick up the pieces tomorrow morning when you're a married man, as opposed to, oh my God, like you can chill in your room tonight just knowing fully well that from tomorrow as a married man, you have a woman that is beautiful, who all your needs that your parents could not even meet, all of them will be met by this woman who God has given you.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about that? Why are we not communicating to men like, yeah, you're gonna have a woman who's gonna do all of the above and love
Yeah.
it while she's doing it?
That's
Oh,
good.
bachelorette, no bachelorette party. Yes, have your bachelorette party. but let it. What I'm saying is, and have the bachelor party as well. Those things are great. But what I'm talking about, Stephanie, is a situation where guys be going crazy, doing all kinds of things because it's my last night as a single man, and women also be doing all these crazy things. It's my last night as a single a woman. Whereas what we should be communicating to both of them is safety, and that your everything that you felt that you could not have as a single person, you are actually going to be getting as a married person
Yeah,
on both
and
sides.
yeah, and look, Steph, I I want to share something with you. It's possible that Jesus can be invited to the bachelor party, right? You know what I mean? To the bachelorette party, to the bachelor party. Jesus was at mine. You know, me and my homies, we went to Six Flags. You know what I'm saying? The world wants people to, like, yo, this shit last night, because people think that all single men are hoeing. You know what I mean? But some people think that there are a lot of men that don't trust women. Oh man, that's another conversation. There are a lot of men who really don't trust women, and that's why they
Yep,
have multiple and don't commit. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? You know, there are a
yep.
lot of women who don't trust men. I've seen women who got multiple men and don't commit too. Those
Yep.
women exist. We don't talk about them, though.
Very, very much so.
Those women
Very much
exist.
so.
We're rap. Like, they be picking and choosing too, or who they want to settle down with, and then at the end of the day, be like, "Yeah, I want a man of God." How you want a man of God? You not acting like a woman of God.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm.
How? Like that, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, look, like I went to Six Flags with my homies. And it's like, look, Jesus can be invited to the bachelor party if you
You
allow
can be
him.
clean.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
clean
Like, look,
and
the things, because look, if I was the dude to have a stripper, like a strip club mentality, those are God's daughters. Those are God's daughters,
talk
right?
about it.
So I can't be mad. I can't be mad if I welcome that spirit of something that I did before I got married, and now it's in one of my children, because I entertained it.
Uh-oh.
If y'all
Uh-oh.
want to get
Yep.
real deep,
Uh-oh.
you mad because your daughter on the pole, or your son on the pole, because you
Uh,
entertained it, and you was like, oh no, it was just what about that is what about that? And then then you got the nerve to get married inside of the church and be committed, dealing with lust and perversion the night before.
Yeah, as a still as a last hurrah, and again, it's just part of that broader conversation, especially for men, where what they know is when me signing up for marriage is something that is nice, is expected of me, but really I'm not going to be made a priority in that relationship. I'm not going to be made. It's nice, but many men go into it like it's something that I'm doing because it's the right thing to do. Like don't make don't do the right thing by her. Ever heard things like that? It's like something I'm doing, not something like I'm entering because wow, this is the best thing, and I'm certain of
Yeah,
the reciprocal relationship that will come from there. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Thank you, man, bro. This has been awesome. Thank you, Stephanie.
No, my
Thank you,
pleasure.
Cheryl, for your questions.
Yeah, thanks
Um,
everyone. Thanks Stephanie. Thanks
yeah,
Cheryl. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Look, look, man. Tomorrow night, the last night, and I'm gonna miss everybody that's been tuning in. You know what I mean? But
There'll be
we
more.
got a lot happening. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be more. You know what I mean? Because I'm on a roll now. I'm on a roll. I ain't trying to
There'll be more.
end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But look, you guys have a blessed night. Make sure you guys watch the playback. If you guys missed anything, remember to take down some notes. Thank you guys for watching. You know what I mean? This has been amazing. Tonight, man, bro, we on here 2 hours, man. 2 hours and 3 minutes. We did it. You know what I mean? I can go one more. You know what I mean? Like real rap. But we gonna get out of here. Thank y'all. Love y'all for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Sescon Witty Wild, a man's guide to the altar. Good night. I see you guys tomorrow night, 9 p.m.
But
with Pastor Salim Wright, We're going to talk about man's intention. You guys don't want to miss this. This is about to be crazy. All right, talk to you guys soon.